So for lesson 5 with our studio, we actually have a data file to download. So what I did is I created a file for all of this. I downloaded the R code already, but to look at the data file, I just clicked on it and it pops up here, but it's a Google Sheet. So I need that as the actual SLX file or XSLX, the Excel file. So I'm going to go File, Download, Microsoft Excel, and then I'm going to have to import that into R. So what I do is go to R in my panel pane, and I click on Import Data Set from Excel. Move the camera part here, and I click on Browse, and I'm going to go Lesson 5 Data. I'm going to import that. And then first, I'm just going to call that L5 data. So here, I click Import. And I think I put that in the wrong part of the code. So let me go back up here. And I need that in the lesson 5 code. Yep, I'm fine. So first, when I imported that, there's a few things that I need to do. I need to call this L5 data. And then what I'm going to do is put in the L5 data where it was weirdly named because it was the second one. So right there, I just rename it. So I'm going to do the read Excel in the caret library. And then first, I'm going to do a scatter plot. So on the x-axis, I did the practice hours 1 and the words per minute 1. My main title is typing speed and practice. The X label is practice hours. The Y label is words per minute. And this PCH19 just tells what kind of dots you're going to have. So I'm going to just run that. And then here is my scatter plot. And then what I'm going to do is add a line of best fit. So you go add line of the linear model of L5 data, words per minute, the Y value, and then a tilde, and then L5 data, words per minute. The X value, the color is going to be red, and this is just the regression line. So that's a way to add the regression line or the line of best fit. So going back to here real quick, here, this is our first sample of practice hours and words per minute. And if you notice, as the hours go up, so roughly do the words per minute. In sample 2 of how many words per minute people could do based on the hours they practice per week, we notice sometimes as the practice hours go up, sometimes they go up and down. And here, same thing as the practice hours increase, we see some of the hours going up and down. So what trends do you notice? In general, as practice hours go up, the words per minute goes up, but it's kind of hard to see in the table. So I'm not going to necessarily type that out for you, but then here is the scatter plots of all 3 of those. So here we see way more of a linear trend. Here, if I put a line through the kind of the cloud of points there, imagining where my line of best fit is, we see a sort of linear trend, but it's not really that strong. Here, I don't really know where to put a line through the middle because there doesn't seem to be a trend. So here in sample 1, there's a strong positive correlation between the practice hours and the words per minute. Sample 2, probably a little bit of a correlation, and sample 3, no correlation. So in task 2, you're going to just draw the scatter plot, or students would. So they go over to 1 practice hour and then up to 10, put a dot. And then over here, 1.5, so 1 would be there. So 1.5 would be about there. And then up to about 12. So lots of plotting of the points. Then they're going to estimate a line of best fit. And then picking 2 points on the line, they're going to find the slope using the y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And then based on their line, they're actually going to put what is the y-intercept, the x and the y coordinate. They're going to use that to find the line of best fit. So on here now, The equation for the line of best fit is 4.56 times the x value plus 5.11. So here, if you did that for 3 hours, you go 4.56 times 3 plus 5.11. And you would type here 4.56 times 3 plus 5.11 is 18.79 words per minute. If you practice, and I'm going to put WPM, if you practice for 3 hours. Now, this is a little bit of an estimate of if you did that per week, how much you would type. Obviously, the more you practice on typing, the faster you would get. So 4.56 times 7 plus 5.1. So here, 4.56 times 7 plus 5.11 gives us 37.03 words per minute. And then for 10 hours would be 4.56 times 10 plus 5.1. And that would be 50.71 words per minute. So if you practice 11 hours, you could adjust that. I'm going to use the same code there, or the same thing, and I'm just putting 11 into my calculator. So 55.27 hours. And then if you notice, is 11 contained in this? So nobody practiced for 11 hours. It's actually outside of the data that we have. So 11 hours is outside of the domain of values. And when you do that, this is called extrapolation. Now, since 11 is close to the number of hours, we could say reasonably that someone would type 55 words per minute if they practice 11 hours a day. Now, what if they did 80 hours or 11 hours a week? What if they did 80 hours a week? So using our model here, you'd go 4.56 times 80 plus 5.11, and that would give us 369.91 words per minute. Now, does that seem like a reasonable estimate? That is really fast, so that seems to be an overestimate. So what happened there is the model was invalid. It doesn't really seem to be worked. There probably is a top number of words per minute that you could type, and practicing for a certain number of hours wouldn't put you over it. So the model is invalid for a number so far outside of the domain of the model. So if your goal was to type 50 words per minute, how long would you need to practice? So really, we would go here, 50 is equal to 4.56x plus 5.11. So what I would do is subtract 5.11 from 50, and I would get 44.89 is equal to 4.56x, and then divide there by 4.56, and you get 9.84. And then here, if you wanted to plot some scatter plots, draw the absolute value line. Again, you go plot L5 data, and then you put your X variable, and then comma your Y variable. Put a comma, put in your main title, your X label, your Y label, and then you can look into picking different PCHs for your points. And then the ab line of a linear model will put in your line of best fit. So we have those codes for you. And then as you go through them, make sure then that you practice, have students practice with the practice problems, practice plotting scatter plots, finding a line of best fit, estimating it, and then in later lessons, we're going to go through fitting linear models and finding the equations with R.